Right. Hi, Igor. Nazarov, not Nazarov, as I wanted to call you. Um, it's lovely to be given the opportunity to talk with you. You're going to be presenting at the Mystech Conference in August, and what I'd like to do is for you to talk a little bit about some of the work that you've done in the past, and a little bit about a little taste of what you're going to be talking about at the conference in August. So I saw that you were some of your videos online. You had done a video about the Schumann resonance, and related to health, if I understood it correctly. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got into that field, and yeah, what have you been finding out?
Sure. So thanks for having me and for this opportunity to talk about it. Let's go back to 40 years ago, 50 years ago. I was born in the Soviet Union in 100% materialistic communist country. I was raised this way in the school. Um, and became a scientist. And so I studied at the best institution, so-called Soviet MIT in Moscow, and also was a 100% materialistic scientist who believes only in material, physical sciences, so everything uh, that you can touch and measure or show to others. Spiritual world didn't exist. It was like Soviet slogan: "The religion is an opium for people."
Yeah.
And because I didn't want to do any opium, so I was obviously this way. It went pretty smoothly. I was successful student, and when I defended my PhD thesis, so I came back to the lab,
So what
and
field were you do? Did you do your PhD in?
so I had bachelor's degree in biophysics, master's degree in nuclear physics, and PhD in chemical physics. So, big variety of different
Yeah.
exact sciences. And when I came back to my lab, I got into depression, which lasted pretty long because I felt that something is missing in this world. It's not enough what I'm having. If I calculate my own death in 30 years in all my career, so I'm not interested in this life. It was the beginning of my journey into spiritual world. Not to forget, it was very difficult to get books of this kind in the
Yeah.
Soviet Union. So because it didn't exist, only in special department in the best libraries you could find anything. And since I was PhD, I had a special access to this very close department. So I discovered the world of yoga, philosophy, on UFOs and everything like that, which
Hmm.
opened the whole world. And this way I found anthroposophy as well. So I have a book which is published, Theosophy in Russian, you see, in
Yeah.
a picture drawing by Rudolf Steiner. It's published in 1990. So I still have this book, even that I
Wonderful.
traveled the world. And then I decided that I'm not supposed to lost all the knowledge I've got in physics, chemistry, in philosophy. I have to find a way to combine wherever it's helpful we can take from this material knowledge I received and bring it back to the spirituality. That's why I'm here at Mystech Lab now presenting a report about the light. It's close to the technology I'm dealing with.
Wonderful. And just before we touch on that area that you're going to be presenting, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the work you've done with Schumann resonance and this field? But perhaps it's like a short explanation of what Schumann resonance is, and then yeah, why you're interested in it.
Um, Because what is Schumann resonance? So Schumann resonance is a natural standing electromagnetic wave which is created naturally by the lightnings which happening about 140 lightning per second. So it's like transmitting lightning bolts happening on the earth all the time, and they create a standing electromagnetic wave. What is standing wave? Which is exists and not changing its frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was theoretically predicted in 1950 by the German scientist Otto Schumann. That's why it's Schumann
Yeah.
resonance. And this wave, they correspond to 8 hertz, 14 hertz, 21 hertz, and then plus 6. You can have as long as you can measure them. But unfortunately, you cannot measure them up to the fifth harmonic. Why? Because of the pollution. And that's why my interest was in this particular effect that these frequencies, strangely enough or genuinely enough, they correspond to the EEG brainwaves we have in us humans. And so the
You talk about the
question
alpha, beta, delta. That
exactly. And so it's not a coincidence because I don't believe in coincidences. So and then the question is, what was in the beginning, chicken or the egg?
mm-hmm.
But because human resonance existed naturally, it was human created. So definitely it was before the humanity started developing. And then wow, maybe these frequencies, they gave our brain some ladder how to go to from dreaming state into the conscious state through beta stage to gamma state, where all our brain works as a whole. Which is corresponds exactly to the Rudolf Steiner's works. And why we're not exploring it? Because of the electromagnetic pollution. And so the question was, can we recreate technologically the Schumann resonance frequencies or diminish the electromagnetic noise to be more
Strengthen.
connected to this Schumann resonance? Not to forget that Schumann resonance, these frequencies, they depend on the state of the ionosphere. It's the upper layer of the atmosphere.
About
And
50 kilometers, yeah?
yeah, so upper layers which are affected by the sun rays, by the cosmic rays. So the Earth as a living organism is breathing. It reflects in the Schumann resonance changing a little bit of the frequencies. And it's all through the entanglement goes to our brain. And so we are just one whole thing with the Earth through the Schumann resonance. It's fascinating.
Deeply fascinating. And what there are loads of videos about Schumann resonance on YouTube. What, from your perspective, is one of the misunderstandings or one of the exaggerations that's being made about it? Or if there are, or perhaps you're in agreement with all the things that people are saying on the on YouTube specifically about the Schumann resonance.
You see, scientifically, people, scientists working with magnetic fields of the Earth, so they find Schumann resonance fascinating because it's a breathing of the Earth in the connection with cosmos. And so, checking the Schumann resonance, you can say a lot about the local condition in a particular part of the Earth and Earth as a whole. But if we're talking about New Age so-called approach, misunderstanding that people believe that Schumann resonance frequency could be changed like that. And so they follow, I don't know what sources, because it's monitored 24/7. And yeah, you see the Schumann resonance change drastically. I look at the pictures and you see it was kind of a noise in this area, which is possible because, as I mentioned, well, electromagnetically polluted drastically, destabilized, everything like that. But that the Earth change its frequency, Schumann resonance frequency, abruptly, that's misunderstanding. It's if I would say, for example, you're breathing and your heart is beating 1 hertz per second, then your heart is not 60 beats per minute, but now like 300. Oh yeah, something
It's
happening.
been caused
Definitely
by
my
outside.
life would go down, right? So,
Hmm.
but if the Earth, this big organism, would die, we would know it immediately without any Schumann resonance monitoring frequencies.
Okay, and turning the question around a little bit there, why is it, from your perspective, so important to really understand thoroughly the human, the Schumann resonance?
It's actually we lived without it for a millennium and we're okay. So, it's importance of understanding these events for me is like interconnection between what's happening on a larger cosmic scale and
Hmm.
what's happening in us. For example, I'm in brain waves, and also Platonic year of Schumann Steiner, like our breathing cycles correspond to the precession of the axis of the Earth through the 26,000 of years. So rhythmic patterns, they're essential. And since there is no electrical connection between our brain and the ionosphere, so then, but it corresponds, we have to think about as scientists, so what kind of mechanism is involved to synchronize these bits. And so I mentioned entanglement.
Mm.
But you see, so far scientists allow entanglement only exist in microsystems like quantum computing, something like that, to photons.
Yeah,
They're too shy to say that macroscopic entanglement is also possible.
yeah.
And some very brave scientists, they have works about this global entanglement where the whole universe is synchronized within a time of 8 minutes. In 8 minutes, it's very interesting time. It's that this time light needs to get from the
The
sun to the
sun to,
earth.
yeah.
Again, analogy. And so that's why books of Rudolf Steiner, they're very inspiring because they're talking all the time that we are human beings created from
Cosmic forces.
cosmic forces. Yeah.
Yeah.
As above, so below, and we're below, and we're a reflection of that, not to forget. Because as a scientist, I was educated quite differently, materialistic scientist.
Yeah.
Wherever we have here as atoms, we can combine any bigger systems like the whole universe. No, it doesn't work this way.
Wonderful. You've reminded me. Another one of the presenters at the conference is a guy called Matt Siegel. I'm not sure if you know of him at all, but his study group, of which I'm part of, the last book that we did was actually the astronomy course, which actually touches on exactly that element of what conceptual frameworks do we already possess as human beings that can help us understand that cosmic relation. So the way you were describing the Schumann resonance, it feels like it's yet another one of those scientific, a fact, a simple scientific fact that allows us to expand our understanding of what it means to be a human being.
Exactly, and especially to focus on the things when too shy to talk about, like electromagnetic pollution,
Mm.
because you see, a big company, they not promote research how harmful is to us, and usually it's harm considered to be how big your brain could be heated with some electromagnetic
Mm.
impulses. Come on, we're much more complicated system than just being overheated on the sun. For example, we expect 113 Fahrenheit degrees, 45 Celsius here in 2 days. So it's a record. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to be overheated, but I'm talking about much more subtle mechanism, which we not even noticing, but they're essential. And monitoring of the Schumann frequencies over the globe by the satellite, they show that the level of the electromagnetic pollution is enormous.
Fascinating. So, is there a connection between what we've been talking about here and your topic which is about the interaction of the biosphere and the noosphere that you're going to be talking about at the conference.
That what I was talking at the conference of the global consciousness in Tucson, Arizona in April. So like since it was a pure scientific society
Right.
gathering of scientists, so I didn't use terms which are used in anthroposophy. So I suppose to adjust to the audience, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't understand each other. That's what I was talking about. Noosphere term introduced by French philosopher and the Russian scientist, Ukrainian scientist Vernadsky. That noosphere is like collective thinking of the whole humanity. One mental form. It's different than we have like collective consciousness of animals. That's what esoteric researchers say. But we are creating something which combining with the consciousness of the earth to transform the earth, and according to Rudolf Steiner teachings, to prepare the transition to the Jupiter stage of the earth. And so it's all hand in hand. So depending on the audience, I'm changing the approach which I have to use, because my goal, as I mentioned, is just to bridge whatever science have known, which we can use for anthroposophy, to enhance the science backwards with the spirituality, which theosophy, anthroposophy, and other right approaches were used for millennia, as we know.
Wonderful. So to give us a couple of hints of what you're going to be talking about at the Mystech Conference.
You see, since Rudolf Steiner has about 365 volumes of lecture, everyone is free to check the subject herself or himself. I'm going to pay more attention into the technological aspects we already have found using the sound and light as carriers of the hidden information in objects. In other words, for example, we can place in our system a plant, take an image of plant, not a photo and not a sound, but something which I call etherical part of it. Record it technologically in a system and then reproduce it through magnetic field to light field into another object, and this object would carry the messages, subtle messages from the plant. This way we can create medicinal stuff. It's like homeopathy, right? Homeopathy works with a part of a substance which you dilute gradually till no substance exists. The technology, light technology, which we're using another approach. So what is light? Light is not visible according to anthroposophy, right?
Yeah.
It's visible when it interacts with matter. The same is happening here. So we have an image of an object, then we remove the visual image. In the rest, that's the information which is not visible, but it's still there. And then, for example, medicinal qualities of cannabis. We can grasp this medicinal beneficial quality, put in the bottle of salty water, give it to person. It would be benefits without any high effects, which people like cannabis for another reason, right? Just to get rid of this reality because it's too difficult to carry.
That sounds deeply fascinating. Many years back, I did a deep dive into placebo and nocebo effect, which is something obviously very real. And it sounds, I'm not saying it's not the same, but it's got a similar flavor, if I can put it like that, when I listen to you describing communicating the information, the effect of the substance without actually any substance being there.
Yeah, so I brought this book for a reason. If you look at the painting, Rudolf Steiner, so you see like images, then reverse images, images, reverse images, images, reverse images. That's how higher worlds go to this world. They go through the stages which is manifested, and then like a mirror image in something which I call ether. And as you know, there are at least 4 types of ether which we're using into the technology we're trying to develop is dealing with the etheric part of a substance, because natural science works with the objects which are already manifested, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to work with objects which are only thought about to be manifested.
Wow, that sounds like it's going to be a super interesting talk you're giving there. I hope. I'm sure. I don't need to hope. I'm sure it's going to be a great conference, and I'm looking forward to listening to your whole lecture. I wish. But I don't want to for the sake of Andrew and his organisation. I'd love to go into depth here. But I think what we'll do is we'll just leave it there and hope we've whetted people's taste buds so that they come and listen to what is clearly a fascinating subject.
And thank you to you, because you see that's a big difference when you just reporting something, not having the reaction action of the audience. And here in the dialogue type of conversation you can reveal much more, because you actually, not you, we are creating, as we know, some another entity or substance which reflects our mutual work and which is essential. And I miss the audience in this electronic format of webinars or anything like that. You are talking at least to the anger person, so you see his reaction, but you don't see in the whole audience.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Good. Well, thank you once again.